We're here. We're in.
We did it. Okay.
I'm starting. So,
whenever you're ready.
Hey JD, you doing anything fun this week?
No, not really. Just going back to Florida to open another store.
Nice. Do you got your gator spray?
Check.
Bath salts?
Yes, both flavors.
Okay, well, what about your face tattoo?
Oh, yeah, I'm getting that on Tuesday morning.
Tight. You gonna get the methed out Mickey on your face?
Obviously.
I guess when in Rome. Or Tallahassee.
Yeah. I'm an island boy now.
I'm an island boy.
You've just logged into the 3-Bit Gamer Show. Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm JD.
And this is Peterson.
And I still to this day regret not having the Island Boys record a cameo for this pod. It's not too late. That's like literally all they do.
Their
anymore.
peak is like it's kind of past. You know, we should.
Yeah, it's like when we had the Hanzo clip. It's like
the problem is I really hated that song because it got stuck in my head all the time.
The Island Boy.
Yeah.
Like that and the Indian Joker song.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. I miss Indian. I don't miss the Island Boys. I do miss Indian Joker.
Indian Joker has fucked his face up with plastic surgery. It's not a good scene over there.
Why would he do that? His face was
so cool before. He looked just like the Joker. Live from the 3-Bit Gamer Show. The news. All right. Our news this week is brought to us by Crave Cookies. Crave Cookies is this cookie shop nationwide. It's a chain. I should say it's a cookie chain now.
It's a cookie chain. It is a chain.
It's like
restaurant.
Hands Across America, but with cookies.
Yeah, like cookie hands across America.
That's what we're looking at here. And Crave is really neat because they have 5 new flavors every week. Every single week, 5 different types of cookies. It's kind of insane when you think about it. You go to Marie Callender's and they just have the same every fucking week. So we do it every week. New menu. And it comes out on Friday, but this podcast airs on Tuesday. And we spoil for you what's coming out on Friday. You don't have to wait. You don't have to walk in the store or wait for a text like a sap. All you got to do is log into the 3-Bit Gamer Show. We'll tell you. No problem. For free, honestly. So coming up this week, Crave Cookies. The Dubai Chocolate remains our monthly.
It's good. I finally got it. We got 2 of them when I went in. I went in on Saturday on my way home from Colin's soccer game.
Bountiful store?
Nope, I went to your store. It was the same 2 people working too. I think they're your only 2 employees.
Yeah, just the 2 kids.
Yeah, and then
the hell out of them. It's great.
They seem to be fine with it.
They don't know any better. They're kids.
That's true. No, I got 2 of the Dubai chocolate because my wife really wanted to try it. It's good.
Yeah,
it's a good cookie.
Yeah,
I like the stuff on top.
Yeah.
I like the stuff inside of it. Like,
it's fucking amazing.
It's a good cookie.
It's something else. And what someone pointed out to me, actually, in fact, one of those kids pointed out to me, is that this Dubai chocolate trend is like minimum. You're looking to taste something in this world, you're like $15. You go to a chocolate store, you want a Dubai chocolate bar, yeah, $15. You want one of those Dubai chocolate strawberry cups, $15-$20. But this cookie costs $5. So,
dude,
it's
easy,
good.
And it is
try this trend, and you just try it via a cookie, which is way more manageable than a big chocolate bar. It's like, I don't know. So that one's awesome. We're gonna have that all month. We've also got the salted caramel Reese's. So you like caramel on your peanut butter chocolate. You're gonna like this one. Also, the stuffed cookies and cream. This is the Oreo in the dough and a full Oreo in the middle of it.
Yep.
And then the waffle crisp cookie. This is the one that looks like a waffle. And finally, the frosted churro. The frosted churro is pretty legit.
That's a good menu. That's a
good
menu.
It's a pretty solid menu this week. So yeah, get your butts on down to Crave Cookies and get your cookie on. Trump's tariffs could increase console prices as much as 69% in the United States. Go ahead.
I'm going to come.
You knew it was coming, didn't you?
This is out of the Consumer Technology Association. This is the trade association behind CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. And they published data from a report from the Trade Partnership Worldwide organization, the TPW. And in the report, it said, quote, for example, the average retail price will increase for smartphones by 31%, monitors by 32%, laptops and tablets by 34%, and finally, video game consoles by 69%.
69%.
And this is on top, of course, of the $80 average increase that we just talked about last week. In which
like you said something about this.
I said, you dumb motherfuckers, why on earth would you increase the console price right now when inevitably in the next couple weeks or months, due to tariffs, you are going to have to increase it once more? Peterson, play it. Spin
Nostradam JDS, yes. JDS. Nostradam JDS.
I might update this. One? I might update it for the actual sode.
Okay, perfect.
This is just the YouTube, get the regular. This might be updated for the actual sode.
I was right. I was fucking
absolutely right. Like
so right.
The only thing you were wrong about was the timing of this.
Yeah, I did not.
We did not know it was happening alarmingly quick.
Yeah,
like this is like, but you called it. Like you were like, this is gonna happen. I didn't think anyone would say anything about it, and then we literally heard about it days later after you said that.
On top of this, also Nintendo has said that the Switch 2 price may change, depending on tariffs. Their president Shintaro Furukawa said that the price changes for the Switch 2 may occur in the future, just depending on how these tariffs go. I feel like, okay, so I don't know. Smartphones,
also 69%. That's
nice. Yeah. Smartphones increasing in price. I don't know you're really going to feel that because a lot of people get a new phone and it's amortized across like 2 years. On your cell phone plan.
Also, like, yeah, like I get, there's always deals for new phones. Like you can get them, like
you get one that's like a year old, and it's way cheaper. So like that one, I think people are going to shrug off. Monitors going up is another thing. Like they're already so fucking cheap. Monitors and you just get a TV. Like fuck, this thing right here is like an Amazon TV. It's like $179. That goes up by 32%. Nah. It's like, whatever. Who cares?
Like I can write it out. Like I've had my current monitor for a long time. Like I could probably write it out. You know what I mean? Without my monitor.
And same with laptops and tablets. Like you're not getting a new iPad annually. But dude, video game consoles going up by almost 70%.
Right.
This is
before new console season.
Like, yes. This is a one-time every 5-year purchase. It's not something you take lightly. And having this be what is that? That's like on top of like they're already $500.
Yeah, and like let's just put it at 50%. We're adding $250. That's $750, and it's more than that. So it's closer to like $850.
Yeah, you're flirting with $1,000. You're touching $1,000 for your new console.
Because you always got to buy like another. You usually buy other stuff. Like you buy a console, it comes with a controller,
and
you
it's
buy another
at a time.
Like
I'm not sure people have a ton of extra money. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like 2020 when it was like swimming in cash. I guess felt like
no one's going anywhere.
Money.
Yup.
This feels way worse than that, and so
So this report goes on to mention that 87% of video game consoles come from China, which is currently subject to a 145% tariff, and we can see the average price per console increase as much as $428. Consumers are expected to also, at the same time, what I was getting at is that consumers are expected to cut purchases by upwards of 73%, which, quite frankly, I've already been doing. I've been doing this for a minute. Ever since, I don't know, like last year when shit started to kind of take a nosedive. So at the same time that console prices are increasing, you have people that are deciding to spend less money. Well, it's a very easy decision when you literally can't afford this because it's the price of a mortgage. it could result. This is again going back to this same report, said that this could result in a $12 billion drop in consumer purchasing power in the United States, as well as the U.S. economy losing $10.4 billion annually from just consoles.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Like,
Dude,
here's the thing.
this is a good president. That's what I
Is-
keep saying. He's
they
making
said-
good choices.
You know the question they always ask, like, is your life better than it was 4 years ago? Here's what
Demonstrably
really irks me.
worse.
Like, genuinely, these
And
just
it's
said,
only
like, you're
been,
gonna
like, 5 months.
100
of
days.
this
It's been
shit.
100 days. He
Oh
just
my
did his
fuck.
100-day report.
Well, now he's planning this parade because
He did say the best 100 days of any president ever. That's a direct quote. And
killing it.
here's the
Fucking
thing.
killing
They always ask that question, is your life better than it was 4 years ago, whatever, like
Mhm.
that. It genuinely won't be. Like, this report said, like, yeah, you have to cut spending. So you're not going to be able to purchase things. Everything's more expensive. Your dollar's not getting you nearly as far. Like, okay, I know what I believe the end game is here, but
There's an end game.
I don't want to talk that. I don't want to talk. I don't want to get into that. I don't understand what the sicko fans think the end game is here, because I see people still posting. They're like, why are the liberals mad that Trump's saving America? And I'm like, how?
He's saving the shit out
From
of us.
what?
Dude,
I-
we're not buying all
I
these
can't.
Chinese consoles.
can't.
Look at that. Don't you feel better?
I can't. Like, I don't even like talking
$2.
about it. I get so
$2 this year. Everybody tighten your belts. We're going $2.
honestly, he is a garbage president and a garbage human being. I hate him. I'm moving on. Now I'm pissed.
Blizzard's entire Overwatch team just unionized. The whole kit and basically anyone that is not managing another employee. This is nearly 200 developers.
part
They're
of a
all
union
in
now.
this. Yeah. This is, of course, the Communication Workers of America. This is another union that they have now established. This is the, I don't know, second or third one at Blizzard alone. This is across 200 developers with things like art and testing, engineering, design. Like I said, just about everyone that's not a manager. And all that kicked this off,
Or
what kicked
HR.
all of
HR
this
doesn't
off.
unionize.
No, they're not real people. What kicked all of this off is that these huge layoffs that they had at Blizzard after the Microsoft acquisition. When Microsoft came in here and just started cutting off heads, that's when people started to be like, oh, maybe we should unionize. Again, this has been a 6, 7, 8 year long, however long this podcast's been around, thing that Peterson has been hinting at. He's been actually not hinting at. We haven't been subtle about saying, like, you're going to earn yourself a
This
union
is
with
happening.
behavior. But with
It
this
started
one,
off as hinting at, like,
yeah,
5 or 6 years ago. And this is just everything we've been saying coming to fruition. Like, that's what is happening right
but
now.
what's so awesome now is that it's immediate. It's not just like, oh man, if you keep pushing us, you watch out. It's like, no, there were layoffs last year. Now we have a union this year. Like, fucking that. Just that fast, because the process has been established. The CWA is just like getting beefier and beefier. They get stronger like a fucking Zord in a Power Rangers movie. Every fucking time a new company has a bunch of layoffs, CWA is just like, nom, 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 nom. They're like, cool. Great. Yeah. Keep fucking employees over. Just keep strengthening unions, because you've given them no other recourse.
Well,
There's
and-
no other expectation that this behavior is going to change in the slightest. And a couple other things that they mentioned that also, piled on top of it wasn't just the layoffs, pay disparities, work from home restrictions, codified protections around things like crunch, time off, severance. In the case of layoffs, bonuses, just 1,000,001 fucking gripes that they already had, things that you might just grumble about. But hell, when you see half of your team just get the axe so that the stock price can go up like 0.25%, yeah, you're going to start looking for outside help, because it's
And that's-
obviously not going to happen inside.
That's
the company.
exactly the point I was going to make. Like, all the people that are left are trembling, like they're scared.
Yep.
And a union shows up and they're like, hey, we're going to do a vote. You want to unionize? I would love to see the numbers on this. I bet they were overwhelmingly pro union because
that's what I
they're the
said in the
people that are
surveys.
left.
Yeah, it
And
was
like,
everybody.
yeah, they're like, I don't know what else to do. I want to stay here. I like my job. I want to work
Mhm.
on this stuff. But they're laying off everybody. The guy sitting next to me who also loved this stuff. Like, I don't even know why I made the cut. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And it's like, I'm scared. I'm scared I am in 2 months or next quarterly earnings report. That's how long I'm going to last. And so
Yeah.
they're doing anything. And like, this is easy win for the unions. The companies did this themselves.
Just lining them up.
Yeah.
Palworld's developers have confirmed that recent changes to the game are due to ongoing legal action from Nintendo. So if you guys are still playing Palworld, this is the Pokemon with Guns game, and there has been suspicion that the few of the changes that Pocket Pair, the guys behind this game, that Pocket Pair has made recently to Palworld last couple months or whatever, were due to legal action from Nintendo, and they finally come out and said it. They've confirmed it on Thursday that they patched out the ability to summon pals via their like little Pokeballs, the pal spears. And they did that in November. And they said, yeah, we did that because of legal actions. And they said more stuff is probably coming. A lot of other game mechanics were changed. And this is a quote from the release. As many have speculated, these changes were indeed the result of ongoing litigation. Everyone here at Pocket Pair was disappointed that this adjustment had to be made, and we fully understand that many players feel the same frustration. They took out you used to be able to fly on your Pokemon, which was like awesome.
That was
the whole
huge.
point of catching the flying Pokemon. They've taken that out. This says as another quote, from this patch onward, gliding will be performed using a glider rather than pals. Pals in the player's team will still provide passive buffs to gliding, but players will now need to have the glider in their inventory in order to glide. Which is just, I mean, then what? Do they come in and sue them for ripping off Legend of Zelda?
Like, what? I don't understand what is the patent there? Like,
Riding a flying monster? Is that not a thing you
Yeah.
can do in a lot of other video games?
Like, so many games and movies do it, and like, what?
Yeah. And the thing that was sad to me was that the release just kept apologizing to fans. Like, we know this isn't the game you paid for, but we have to keep like degrading the experience to avoid like lawsuits.
And here's, I guess when you look at it, like when you look at like a litigation, right? If you're suing someone for, whatever, patent infringement or something like that, you're assuming that some of your IP or business is getting poached.
Mhm.
I would have a hard time seeing that was the case here. I don't think people are like, oh, I don't need to buy the next Pokemon game or collect Pokemon cards or do any of that because Palworld exists. I don't think that's the case at all. If they had released maybe like a huge Pokemon game and Palworld on the same week, I could maybe see a case being made for that. I do not see a case being made for this, and it's really unfortunate.
The only people that are being served by Palworld are the people that wished Pokemon had done the things that Palworld is doing.
Right.
And Pokemon refused to do.
And if Pokemon did them in their next game, people would play it. People would buy it and play it. We would play it.
But Pokemon's just like, fuck you. You're going to get the same shitty games over and over again. You will buy them and you will just deal with it. And Palworld comes out. It's like, hey, here's a bunch of shit that people have been asking about for like 20 years. Like 20 fucking goddamn years. And Pokemon's like, no. Nintendo's like, nuh-uh. Not on my watch. Ridiculous. That's what I feel. They're just threatened. All right, Riblets are meats with some news or something.
We got the meats.
Yeah, basically you get a rib. It looks like it's, I don't know, 50% of what the rib should be, and with none of the meat on it. It's just like brown from little barbecue sauce.
Some of them could be like raccoon ribs or something like that. Like it's hard to know.
You never know. Roadkill ribs. That's what these news stories are. They're not a full rib. They're just a little guy. Not a lot of meat on this bone. Giant Bomb's staff just bought Giant Bomb back from Fandom. Dude, kind of talked about this a little bit last week. This is the game site. Giant Bomb's been around for forever,
So long.
and Fandom owned them for a while and decided to like, we don't want them anymore. I think they were just going to close it. So they might have just paid for this. They paid like 5 figures for this. I wouldn't be surprised if it was less than 6 figures. Because Fandom was just going to close it down and get nothing out of it. So they're like, here, we'll just like pool all of our loose change from the break room couch. Will that do it? And Fandom's like, I don't give a fuck. You can just
like,
have it.
oh,
guys.
you want this? Okay.
Yeah. Here's what the server costs every month. Like, you want this? They're like, yeah, we'll just do that.
Should
Which
we
is nice.
buy something? I mean,
We
we
should
talked
buy
about this last
something.
week, but like, should we buy something?
I could sell some stuff. And then we
Yeah.
could just buy, I don't know, IGN?
Should we buy
Someone's
IGN? Let's make an offer.
Yeah.
Let's make an offer. We got like we can cobble together like $4,000 or $5,000.
Get the listeners to send us a couple bucks here and there. We could probably get up to like $5,000-$6,000.
Dude, we will credit you on literally everything.
Yeah, you guys will get it. They unveiled a premium membership for their site. It's $10 a month or $100 a year, but they said they remain committed to having most of their content, most of what they put out, to be free. So that's kind of cool, actually, is that they're like, yeah, I mean, you can support us. That's so they came out of the gate right away, just be like, we need fucking money. We need your money. Like, we're not going to be coy about it. We're going to keep doing what we've been doing for free as much as we can. But this is neat that they are fully independent, no corporate ownership whatsoever. And if this model can work, I'd love it. If we can get back, we just looped all the way back around to independent media ownership. It'd be kind of nice. Be kind of cool.
It took a couple purchases to get there.
Yeah.
Like circular purchases.
Had to go through the washing machine of capitalism, and there's like only 5 employees left at Giant Bomb, which I think you should employ like dozens of people. But yeah, we got there. Independent media. Gears of War is officially coming to PlayStation 5 in August. If you would have said this 5, 7, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, this would be the most ludicrous thing you could have talked about. Peterson and I were coming up with some good examples last night. This is like you see the next Super Mario game is coming out on the PlayStation. This is like seeing, I don't know, what's another good example? Zelda on the Xbox, Pokemon on Steam.
Pokemon on Steam, like on day one release, like play it on the Steam Deck now.
It's just wild.
It kind of unheard of. You know what I mean? Like this is, we knew this era was ending. But this is a good marker of that. This era is over.
Yeah, so dead in the ground. Gears of War Reloaded. It's a remaster of the original first Gears of War game. It'll be coming out August 26th for $40 on all platforms. And it'll be a Game Pass Day 1. A Game Pass Day 1 game that will also be available on PlayStation. It's just kind of crazy.
That is crazy.
I know, it's just fucking kind of crazy. Also, we've got tech experts saying that the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remaster's camera is breaking the longer you play, and eventually it just crashes when you're loading a save. Fucking hilarious. This is a Blurcy nominee.
Yeah, this
for sure for worst bug. It's an analysis coming from Digital Foundry, and what it basically gets into and says is that the more you create and load saves, the more it just adds to the giant pile of bugs that eventually just break your game entirely.
The bugs are breeding in there, like bugs on bugs.
And so in a game where, like, a Skyrim or Elder Scrolls Fallout kind of game where you're constantly reloading saves, always, that every time you do that, it like just chalks another. So like the bug, one of these bugs is that like you're riding a horse, and instead of your camera being directly behind your character, it's like 10 feet up directly behind your character. So your character's not even in the fucking screen. It's just like if there was a drone hovering 10 feet above your character looking straight ahead, that's your camera.
Dude, that
shit like that. And then it just piles up to the point your game doesn't work, which is a problem because the longer you go and the more saves you accumulate, the more bugs you accumulate. You play a game like this where you invest tons of time and your whole save is corrupted. And let me tell you, these early stage bugs, these are not things they like patch and then you go back to your old save and it's fixed. These are restart your save bugs. This is why I haven't gotten into this game, and I probably won't for like a year because I'm not going to test it.
We know this is pretty common with Bethesda. Like,
Yeah.
we know that this type of stuff happens. This is, I mean, it's not surprising at all.
No, not
At
even
all.
remotely.
And didn't we talk about this last week? Like, they brought it up and they were like, yeah, there's going to be
Dude,
bugs.
it's surprising that this is the first major bug story we've reported on for the Oblivion remaster.
Yeah, honestly, they're
If I'm
doing
being
pretty great.
honest.
They're
Yeah.
doing pretty great.
Like, there
Like-
should have been like a dozen of these already that we haven't seen.
The bar was set so low by
Mm-hmm.
themselves. They set the bar that we're just like, dude, you guys are doing a fantastic job. Like, it's
Yeah.
still not high. It's like at your knees, but we're like, this is
It's high
the
enough to
best
trip over
we've
now.
ever seen.
Yeah, it's
This is-
perfect. And then this last story here is that the new Pope has a better Wordle streak than you do. Peterson, this one's
I was just
Peterson's
really,
on the Pope beat.
I was just
loves
really
the new
happy.
Pope.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot about new Pope because if you haven't heard, there's a new Pope and he's American.
So he's a
And-
meme lord.
Yeah,
Instant
this is
meme lord.
absolutely.
Fan-fucking-tastic memes coming out from the new Pope. Pretty stoked.
He's a hardcore Wordle player and he's been going for a long time. So look, I think we can say officially that we know that the Pope is a gamer, right? Can we say that? Because we did talk about Wordle quite a bit on this podcast
Mhm.
when it was first getting big. So the Pope he's a gamer. Pope.
Do you think he's going to play the new Doom game? Do you think it's like his papal responsibility? to
This
do
would
that?
be honestly, that would be one of my favorite things that's happened, and which means I know it won't happen. What's more than likely is he'll start
Pope
streaming,
streams, dude.
He'll start
Pope
streaming
Twitch.
and start saying he's the best of the best at, I don't know, whatever game he's playing, Call of Duty, the best Doom player out there. And if someone calls him out, he'll excommunicate them. That's kind of like on par of what's
Done.
been happening
Done. Yeah.
in the world. But hey, I like to think positively.
You know when gamer
can't
girls have
agree.
those headphones that have the little cat ears? You know where I'm
Yes.
going with this. I want to see those Pope phones
Dude, he's gonna have like
on his stream. His hat goes out of the fucking camera frame. Or
Headphone
hear me
hat.
out here.
headphones.
Instead of like every other streamer in history that has a horizontal landscape orientation, his is in portrait.
It's straight.
It goes up the side of the screen. 'cause
You
it's
got to
gotta
get
his
that. You
whole-
got to get
his
that
Pope
ad.
phones in there.
Dude. And he, instead of selling bath water, he sells holy water. He's
Dude, look,
gamer holy
Here
water.
on the 3 Bit Gamer Show, we're all about harmless boomer style Pope jokes. We're doing hat. We're doing holy water jokes.
What else you got? What else? I don't know a lot.
He wears
more.
white.
What do
We're
we
doing
got?
like
What can we do with
smoke
that?
jokes.
Smoke jokes.
That's what we're doing with the new Pope. It's awesome. You tune in here because we are PR friendly.
Kudos. Kudos. Kudos.
Dude, are our kudos really this thin? All right. That's all right. Hey, every week can't be a winner. In
Yeah.
fact, this week was dog shit. I mean, physically for me. But it's all right.
It was okay for me, but I don't know if there was nothing new. You know what I mean? The new thing was Crave cookies, and I talked about it already.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Last-
it's like,
Last Thursday. Okay, so last week I had lower back pain, and like an idiot, I went out and weeded in my yard for like 2 hours. which
smart.
made it
Yeah.
way
Whenever you have
worse.
back pain, you should go pull weeds.
Punch over, pull weeds. Yeah.
Punch
Fucking
over.
idiot.
Use your back to pull out the really hard ones.
The next morning, I get up and I'm pulling on my underwear, and honest to God, dude, this spike of pain, it felt like someone jabbed 2 knives in my back, like right in the middle, like on either side of my spine. It laid me out. It put me out, and I was just like laying on the bed, like I'm not going to be able to go to work today. And then while I was working on that, because I finally got up and I limped through work with like ice strapped to my fucking back the whole shift. The next day I woke up and my neck hurt so bad I couldn't turn my head. It was like just back pain just migrating all over my body.
So this week is brought to you by Ben Gay.
And,
JD has
no,
been
Epsom salt baths. That's what this week has been brought to you. Because
Oh my
then
God.
on Saturday, just this last Saturday, I ran a half marathon that just went downhill down a mountain.
You did.
So it's
do
not
that.
like an
You
easy,
did good
just, like,
though.
running on flat.
You did. You had great times. You showed us your times. You posted really well. So kudos
you.
to you.
Yeah, so my body is not feeling great this week. And Jenna's like broke her neck in class or something, so that's cool.
Oh no, you guys are just
It's all
killing
good.
it.
It's all
Yeah.
good. But I do have one.
Okay.
Just one kudos.
Yeah,
It's a Fudos. It's a good
the best
one.
kind.
Remember
Mhm.
last week I mentioned that I went to that specialty snack store here in Utah called,
Pyrodos.
and it was awesome. And I still haven't gotten through all the candies that I got there because I got so many.
You did.
But one that I broke into this week that I absolutely was obsessed with, the Harry Potter Haribo mix.
Okay.
Just a
Well, how is
standard-
it any different?
Oh my God. The flavors on this thing, just off the top of my head, because they're all in German, so I had to use Google Translate on them. There's
Yes.
cola, there's cotton candy, there's lemon drop, there's like a number of. Let me see if I can actually pull this up. Let's see. Harry Potter Haribo. Let's see if it's on the
Bogies.
Googles.
Was
Yeah,
there
boogers.
It wasn't like the jelly beans, right? We were just like eating a good one, and then this one tastes like an actual frog.
Yeah, let's see. Magic Harry Potter edition. Tell me what the flavors are, you rat fucks.
They're in German. I want you to say them in the original German.
Dude, it just doesn't tell me what the flavors are.
You don't get to know. If you don't know, you don't know. That's like the Harry Potter of it.
I guess. Wait, hold on. Okay, here we go. Cotton candy, lemon sorbet, cola, caramel, cherry, and sweet apple.
That is a bananas mixture.
Dude, and they've got the ones, like gummy sharks or like gummy frogs that have like that white stuff.
the white
on
belly.
lap.
Yeah.
White belly. So there's some white bellies in there. There's snitches. There's
Nice.
lightning bolts. It's just like a variety. It's like such a crazy variety pack. The flavors are next level. I mean, this is just, I would say, and I love Haribo. Haribo is probably, I'd say, my number one candy company, if I got to be honest.
They do make good gummies.
Because you got such a variety, you can always find a good Haribo candy. And so I would say I kind of consider myself a connoisseur of Haribos, and these are without a doubt the best Haribo mix I've ever had.
Wow. Okay.
Ever. And I have some strong opinions on Haribo mixes, including like when I lived in Europe for a while, and the ones that I found out there that was like hard to find here that were also amazing. But ooh, you guys,
Okay.
Harry Potter Haribo mix. If you see it, I guess they have it at Target in English. That's the one that I found that I was reading the flavors off of. So I don't think it's that rare. You should be able to find it. But if you do find it, get it.
I will just say I don't have a kudos officially this week, but my hummus guy was back.
Oh
Friday.
yeah.
Dropped another $40. I'm $80 deep on hummus in like 10 days. But I got 3 new flavors, all of them fantastic, and some tabbouleh salad. So
Fuck.
I told him,
And dude, you are fucking
has
up our
to be
whole
there.
listener base. Everyone that you've talked about this is just like, I can't get this hummus that Peterson's alluding to. Unless you're Peterson's like neighbor, you're not going to get this hummus.
it's
And
the smallest
fucked up that
part.
You've done this to all of us.
I'm so sorry.
I can't even get this hummus, and I only live like 30 minutes away from you. Like,
Did he? Yeah.
there's no way.
I was seriously like, okay, I think I got addicted to meth this week because we ate it so fast, and I thought about it every single day. I told every single person I knew about it. If I was like, if he's not there on
Yep.
Friday, I'm gonna have to find him. I'm gonna have to
That's
go
what meth
find
is
him.
like. Yeah, you just
And-
need it.
I was like, I'm not like a vegetarian. I don't even like hummus that much. Hummus is fine, but this hummus, dude, no, I was about to make a really dirty joke. I'm not gonna do it. Hummus guy was there. and it was
Peterson
great.
likes this hummus.
Okay.
Top 10. Take it from the top. Top 10. Don't stop.
Guys, rounding the corner on this. We got me, we got Peterson, maybe we got Danny, we'll see. And that's it. And then we're kicking it back to you guys. If you
And we've got
haven't
a
sent your top
bunch.
10 in, we're gonna actually spread these out. So you guys are gonna have some time. We got so many listener top 10s. It's gonna probably take us like 3 or 4 or 5 episodes to get through them all.
Yeah, we're just gonna like sprinkle them in there. I think
We're not just gonna just like sit there and just read through them really quick and move on. We want to give these some time. So send yours in if you haven't already. But this week, it's me. And I bet you guys think that you know. I bet you think you know me and Peterson. I bet you think you know us pretty well.
I think half of my list will be
Mhm.
a genuine surprise. That's my guess.
Mine's gonna be surprising. Mine
Okay.
surprised me.
Okay, I like this.
I went through this phase where I started to, I was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna write down every game, every single one that you think is top 10 worthy.
Okay.
And I came out to like 15, 16. And I was like, all right, that's easy. We can narrow this down 5 or 6. And then it ballooned up to like 20 something. And then it was at 20 and I narrowed it down. I whittled it down and I was very proud of myself. I got it down to like 16 or 17. But then, of course, as I sat down to start whittling, it started to grow again. I think the final count before I really whittled it down was 18. And what I finally did that allowed me to move on, that it really helped me,
because I'm at 17 right now,
was that I decided I needed to read out honorable mentions.
Whoa,
okay. Do my top 10, and then without giving any significant time to them because they didn't make the cut, I'm just going to read through the 8 that didn't make it, maybe a little blurb on why they didn't make it. But the other thing that helped me massively was building out criteria. I had to write this down for myself so that I could gut check each game that was on my 18 game long list and start to whittle down what I thought was great. And now I'm talking and I'm like, mate, should I put Obra Dinn on here? Should I put
No? Stop.
See, it is awful. This is so difficult for me, but here are the criteria that I used. So maybe, that's why I left the honorable mentions on there, because if I swapped these criteria around, some other games might actually make it on the list. But here's what my criteria were. Do these games define who I am as a gamer, or who I was, or who I will be? Like, were these seminal games? Because I have played, at this point, being on this podcast, Peterson, have we played hundreds of games? If you take into account all the demos we played on Steam,
if you include demos,
hundreds of
it's crazy. Games. I think we play genuinely. I think I play 30 to 50 new games a year.
Yep.
And that does not include the demos. That's just my Steam games. That doesn't include any other console or anything else.
Yeah,
Steam
my
games,
Steam wrap or whatever is usually around 30 to 40 games for me.
And that's a lot. And yeah.
So that's where I'm like, these games need to define me. They need to be games that reset or laid a foundation for what I play now. Did I lose myself in these games, or did I just love them a lot? Because, okay, this is a great example of the one that I just said out loud. Obra Dinn. Obra Dinn was a fantastic game, blew me away, and I loved it to death. But it was 5 hours, and I've never gone back to play it again, even though I think it would be a little easier now that I know. And so that was another thing that helped me narrow these things down. The other criteria: would I go back and replay these games now if they were readily available? Because some of them are old games and I'd have to pull out a Dreamcast or something to play them. But the question is, if I could just get them on Steam, would I play them right now? Or are they games that I'd think that I was oh, I'd love to replay that, and I never get around to it?
Because there's some games that you genuinely connect with, where you're I have nothing bad to say. I loved this game. But it's not I don't know if you connected with it in a way that would put it in your top 10 of all time.
Which is my final criteria. That's my final criteria was, were these games truly top 10 material, or were they just associated with really great memories? Because ultimately, after I continued to narrow my list down, I had to ask myself, are these games that are I wouldn't be ashamed to show these, to stand up in a room of 10,000 gamers and defend their merits? Because at that point, I can't have any games where I'm it actually kind of sucked, but I liked it, because it was fun. I was no, I have way too many games on this list for any game that wasn't an actual barn burner amazing game. So with all that laid out, I'm gonna start down at number 10 and work my way up to number 1. These are ranked in order.
I'm gonna do mine in order too, I think.
Fucking part. Once I narrowed it to 10, ranking these because they are so disparate and so different.
That's exactly what I'm finding. Like,
Not apples to oranges. It's like apples to wine corks. Like it is. So, starting at number 10. Number 10, Undermine. Wild. I know.
no, it's not wild. I sat here. I just want to say this is the game that I sat, and I won't spoil it at all, but I sat there the longest out of all of them and trying to decide if it goes on or not.
Yep, that's why it's down there at number 10. It was right on the cusp, and it battled with like 3 or 4 other games for that number 10 slot. But ultimately, the amount of replayability and the answer to the question is yes. I am always at risk of starting another Undermine run.
I've gone back to it loads of times. Honestly, it's permanently on the Steam Deck, and I just I'll just go play again. Like I'll just go start again.
And when Undermine 2 comes out, Peterson and I are absolutely going to be playing the absolute shit out of this.
No
game.
Question.
No and so question. Like I know that like that's what this is all like. That one, that's where it kind of did it for me. Is like,
yeah,
I sunk unbelievable hours into this game. I loved every aspect of this game. And the other thing is that there are other games that are like this, like Binding of Isaac. Those types of this genre is very common. But this is the one that jumped out to me, and this is the one that hooked me. And none of those have really gotten me the same way. So for me, it's not like, oh, you're in love with this genre necessarily. You are in love with this game.
This is the best of like I consider it like a roguelike Zelda, like original Zelda.
Yeah,
it's how it feels. But just we talked about this before, but the ability to jump in this game makes it's so stupid, but it makes the giantest difference. In the
I don't know
world.
why. It just works. And that's kind of the other thing about this list is like all these games. When I start talking about them, when I started watching videos about them on YouTube, I was like, oh fuck, I got to download this. Oh fuck. And I'm thinking about it right now. I'm like, can I squeeze in Undermine? Should I take the Steam Deck to Florida and should I just play Undermine the whole fucking time? Maybe I could start a new game there. And that's
a great airplane game too. Because you can just stop whenever you want. Like it's not like that big of a deal with the Steam Deck. You can just like put it on sleep mode and just jump right back in when you get to hotel.
Number 9, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Okay.
This is a game.
Wow, I did not think this one.
Literally just telling Jenna about today because she. This is so weird. Grand Theft Auto always has these radio stations, and they're generally just like a loop. Yeah. But there was one called K-Dust on San Andreas, and Jenna unironically listens to it all the time. And this is intercut with like the DJ in between the songs, the DJ making like corny jokes and shit, and they're funny. And I was telling her today while we were listening to it, I was like, I wish they hadn't fucked up the Grand Theft Auto remasters because I would have loved to watch you play San Andreas. I just think it's great. And if they ever remaster it, ever release it, I would absolutely play the shit out of this game. I played this a ton on the PlayStation 2 when I was a kid. I was like 14, 15. I bought a PlayStation 2. Spent my own money exclusively to play this game. This is what started me on the PS2. And once I had a PS2, because that was like, there was a pretty big gap between the Dreamcast, which I played into the ground, and I bought every used Dreamcast game for years and years that I could find at game stores. And so I rode that train for a while, but finally I was like, okay, it's time to grow up, time to get a PlayStation 2. And then once that cracked open with Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, I played dozens, if not 100 games on the PS2 because it had such an insane catalog. And I came to it about 4 or 5 years late. So I had a ton of cheap games that I could get at GameStop used. And like I said, it all started with San Andreas, and this is what kicked it off. So this game like this kind of reconfigured who I was, because the Dreamcast, I was still following kind of the quirky, offbeat Sega game path. Because I played the Genesis and none of my friends had one or played it. They all had Nintendo, Super Nintendo. They had the N64. I missed that whole generation. Didn't have a PlayStation. Didn't have an N64. And then I got a Dreamcast. It was gone 18 months later. So this is my first real entry into like kind of the mainstream games when I could play a Grand Theft Auto, when I could play the like a Forza game or Need for Speed or all these games that I'd been missing out on. And it was all because of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So that's number 9.
That one was surprising to me.
Well, then you're going to be more surprised by this one. Number 8, BioShock 2. BioShock 2 is really the only one I replay anymore. BioShock was one of my favorite games of all time. Played it a ton. BioShock 2 came out. I have a lot of associations and a lot of memories with that game, specifically with that game's release and playing it on release day in Washington, D.C. during the snowpocalypse, because I picked that game up the day it came out. Was the first day of the snowpocalypse. I had a week off of work because the whole city had shut down.
Yeah.
Because the trains couldn't run. And I just played BioShock 2 nonstop for days. And this one had multiplayer, which was actually really fun. It was like a Team Fortress 2 style multiplayer. Which was, so it was like class based and that's exactly.
I didn't know that existed for this.
Yeah, but BioShock 2, I don't feel gets nearly the accolades that BioShock 1 or BioShock Infinite received. And I think it's very unfair. I thought the story was great. I thought the gameplay improvements were really awesome. The way you hunt down big daddies is a lot more, I think, fun in this game. You set a lot more traps or a lot more abilities. I just think it was a vast improvement on BioShock's formula. And it still represents like a game that I think founded who I was as a gamer for a long, long time and the kind of games that I was into. So BioShock 2, number 8. Number 7. This one shouldn't be a surprise to a lot of people. A lot of people have heard me talk about this game a lot. Toy Commander.
Yep.
For the Sega Dreamcast. It was a game where you played. Essentially, you just imagine a little boy in his house playing with toys. So he's playing with mostly vehicle toys, so like planes and trucks. But then the boy is invisible, so you are now playing the invisible hand of the boy playing these toys, kind of like Toy Story. This came out right around the same time as Toy Story, so it was like I was in that mode of playing that toys came back to life. But this is another game that I sunk so many hours into, and it was just a game that I think I really started grinding on games with this one when it was a pointless grind. There wasn't for achievements. It wasn't for anything. It was just like a game that I couldn't get enough of. And all I did was just play it endlessly, because you could try to get perfect scores on all the levels and like beat them in a certain amount of time. And I would just do that there was no real reward. It was just,
you weren't like unlocking anything. You were just like, you just wanted to do it.
Yeah. Just obsessed with it. And it's a game of every game on this list. There's only one more that I like am so like, it makes me sad that not only will I never get a game like this again, but like the people who made it have spread to the winds. So it's like, it's just this weird flash in the pan that no one's ever heard of or ever really played. And I think about it probably once a week. So that's why this had to be on my list.
Your next tattoo is a Toy Commander tattoo.
Oh, don't even. That's why I got the Dreamcast tattoo, to just cover them all. So I don't have to get a neck tat of Fur Fighters and Toy Commander. Number 6, Halo 3.
Halo 3. Okay.
Is
this one a game or a nostalgia or a mix?
Mix. Absolutely a mix. This was actually, you remember my criteria. One of them was, would I replay these now? But one of them was, did I lose myself in these games or did I just love them a lot?
Yeah.
This is kind of both. And it was the first game. So I played Halo 1, did the LAN parties, but I didn't own an Xbox. And so it was just like whenever I was out and about. Halo 2, same deal. Didn't have an Xbox, played the LAN parties, just got my shit kicked in. Halo 3 was the first one where I had Xbox Live. I had an Xbox 360.
Oh, it was
all my friends had Halo 3. And so like I played it with Jeff endlessly. And this was one of those where you just go over to a friend's house, you bring a couple pizzas, you'd sit down and play Halo 3 for hours. 2, 3 in the morning. It didn't matter. All we did was just play same levels over and over again, same like motions. You do the same shit over and over again, and it never got repetitive. just that arcadey style multiplayer game. I played a ton of Call of Duty games, but none of those made the list in the way that Halo 3 did. It just, I don't know. It was just the one.
I think that time though, like I think exactly like describing what you're saying, like that. I had the same experience with Halo 3 specifically. Like Halo 1, Halo 2 were somewhat revolutionary for like the multiplayer gaming experience, the LAN party experience. But Halo 3 really like, okay, we're going to actually play this game. My friends, when I got married and moved up to Utah, they bought me an Xbox so we could play Halo 3 together.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and so they were like, "Here's your going away gift. Like, we want to play." And so, like, that was the one. Like, that was the one where we were serious about it.
Yeah, everyone had it. That was the best part. Is you'd meet a new person and you just like add me on Xbox Live. We'll play Halo 3 because everyone has.
Everyone
Halo
was playing
3.
it. Everyone was playing it.
Yeah, and you could always find a group. If I ever got into a game, because there was those big. It was like Big Heavy or whatever, where I always like the ones where it was like 20 people on a team and there was a ton of like vehicles that you could have, and it was just a big chaotic mess, like a big battle. But even the more intimate ones that were like, there was that one on the bridge was like my favorite level, where you just walk out and you just start chucking grenades across the bridge, and it was just madness, just absolute chaos. There are people flying because you get on those little those jump pads. And you'd see guys flying across the map, and then someone was sniping them in the midair, and they drop all their shit everywhere. I mean, I have more memories, multiplayer memories on this game, and this is including you and I. This predates all of our entire friendship, and I still think I have more crazy, like, funny memories playing Halo 3 than, like, basically most of ours combined.
Yep.
Just because the sheer hours that I spent playing that game. Because you sit down a 4 or 5 hour session of this shit. We
like regularly.
Yeah.
Regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, no, absolutely.
And that's what I mean, honestly, that's what primed me for League of Legends when we would do the same thing. It's like, this was my first game, and it eventually evolved into when we would sit down and play League of Legends until 2 a.m. because of Halo 3, and that's what it kind of set up for him. So Halo 3 is number 6. Number 5, Fur Fighters for the Sega Dreamcast. I gotta have some Dreamcast games on here. Although there were some that I had to remove that just broke my heart. Fur Fighters stuck with me. Fur Fighters was one of the first real shooters that I played. If I'm being totally honest, it was a third-person shooter, and it was one of the first games also that had strafing. In fact, this one was very unique because it used, if you remember, the Sega Dreamcast did not have twin sticks. It had one joystick, a D-pad, and buttons. So the way that they got around this is that they turned the buttons on the right side into your second joypad, or I'm sorry, your second joystick. And so you were using the buttons up, up, down, left, right was like that YABX. And that's how you ran around, which was a game that made me like completely shift how I was used to playing games. And I didn't even care because it was so much fun. It just, I don't know. This one just hit for me so hard. If you guys aren't familiar with Fur Fighters, is a game where you play as, I guess, like stuffed animals with guns, but they're like real sentient animals. So when you shoot them, there's like fluff comes out, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And the idea is that you're playing as, there's like, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't need to get into the weeds. You're playing as animals with guns, and it's fucking hilarious. It's very fun. In the game, it's very pre 9/11 because you actually knock one of the two towers into the other one. It's fantastic. Very awkward now. Funny back then.
It was hilarious back then. Now it's like
not so much now. A little less funny 2 years after the game came out. When someone did that in real life. But yeah, Fur Fighters, I don't know. It's a game that I loved, and a game that when I talk about shooters, probably one of the earliest shooters I ever played. So that's had to be on here. Number 4 for me. Now, this one will not be a surprise. Actually, my top 4, I don't think. This is where it gets into the not surprising territory. Number 4 is Raft.
Okay, this one is surprising to me though. I know you like this game, but for it to be in your top 5, I did not realize it was the top 5 game for you.
Raft is a game that dude, you know what? My number 1 played game on Steam is Valheim by significant margin. Beats out
Yeah.
FTL even. And Valheim isn't on my top 10. Valheim isn't even in my honorable mentions
What?
because Valheim did not stick the landing and they haven't even tried to
That's
land
true.
it.
That's
Valheim
true.
did nothing but disappoint me after that initial
like
huge-
yeah, the first
it's gone
playthrough
downhill
was
nonstop.
incredible, and then they kept adding stuff, and the game would get like at first they would add like stuff, and you're like, whatever, I didn't care like about some of the like house additions,
Mhm.
but
Who
then they
cares?
were adding like they add the new biomes, and they were just impossible.
Yeah.
In fact, my buddies who were way into it, they couldn't play it without mods because it was too impossible. Like it was, you just don't go there. And
Yeah.
that's like the whole point of the game. Like you couldn't get good enough stuff to go there and survive. Whereas the other biomes you could. Yeah. I didn't
So
even play it. I
Raft-
never have been there.
Did the same thing with it's not worth. It's honestly, I would say never play Valheim again. Like that's how bad it was. With the last time I played it. And I haven't even gotten to the latest.
Tough to say.
Yeah, it's insane. It's my most played game on Steam. Raft is the same feel, the same vibe of the game as in Valheim. It's a survival game. I wouldn't say the same feel. That's very unfair. It's the same genre.
It's the same type of
But
thing.
I came into Raft in terms of the development cycle about where Valheim is now. Kind of like middle to the end of what they're hoping to do with the game. And I loved it then. And I stuck with it for a year or two while they finished it. And then I played it again when it was totally finished. And I loved it more. They stuck the fucking landing. And the game was one that like it just sucked me in so hard. And I understand, I think I've talked about this before on the pod, that I was playing this game when I was grieving for a couple weeks, and it was like an escape for me, like a hardcore escape, like the worst grief I've ever experienced in my whole fucking life by like orders of magnitude. And this game was what I had to like do. And it was fantastic. And so it's got that special place in my heart, but as like a game, I just loved it. I love that it was in I think of all of these, it's the indiest game on my list, possibly. And it's the scrappiest.
Probably.
It's like this game had no business having combat in it, but they put it in there anyway, and they scrapped it together, and it's okay. It's like, all right. And it just like, I don't know, it just did everything that, and it just captured my imagination in a way that a lot of these other games didn't. It's just delightful. Raft was just delightful. It's a peaceful game. It's an interesting game. It had to be. And this was for you, like you said, surprising, because this was around number 10. And then as I started to stack rank it against all these other ones, it kept beating these games out. And it kept being like,
so
wow, this is a more important game to me than these other games. And I guess another criteria would have been, and this one, I guess if you guys need help narrowing your lists down, is if you never played this, which game would you be okay with never playing it? Having never played or never experienced. And Raft is so high up on that list. That
I own Raft and I've never played it.
And I can't promise that everyone's going to have the same experience with it, if I'm being honest. If you don't like Kevin Costner's Waterworld, I don't know. Raft might not be.
Okay, if you don't like Kevin Costner's Waterworld, you just get out of here.
Get out. It's a masterpiece of cinema. All right, number 3, another non-surprise, Pokemon Red or Blue. I mean, I had Pokemon Blue.
No,
I played
which
Pokemon
one?
Red. It's got to be Pokemon Blue. That's the one I know. I know the Pokemon in it. Because there's like 5 in the other one that aren't available in the other one. I don't know. So I had Pokemon Blue. My brother had Pokemon Red. I think Jeff had Red. I think you always knew which everyone had. Anyway, I remember getting this game. I remember getting this game on Christmas morning. Me, my brother, my sister, we all got a Game Boy Color and we all got a Pokemon game. My brother got red. I got blue. My sister got yellow, and she had the yellow Game Boy, which was the coolest. And I remember going over to my grandma's Christmas morning and to do presents or whatever. And I was having my brother, this memory that's burned in my head. I was having my brother help me beat the second gym. I played through this game now. It takes me like 5-6 hours to get to the second gym. That's how much I played this game on Christmas morning, that by the time I went to grandma's house in the afternoon, I had already like sunk 5 hours into it. This game grabbed me by the fucking brainstem and it's still not let go. 30 years later, it's still in there. I played this game on the playground. I played this game everywhere, nonstop. I would play this game till the batteries in my fucking Game Boy died. And I played this. When they remade it into Fire Red, I played it the same way. Played it into the ground. Got every single Pokemon. When they remade it into the Let's Go series, same deal. Like, you could remake this game 100 times. I'm going to keep buying it. I'm going to keep going through it and playing it and just loving it. And now I have a huge fondness for creature collectors. There are very few on Steam that I haven't played. Like, I just play them all because I fucking love these kinds of games. Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue, just number 3. No brainer. Number 2.
Okay. Here we go. It's
Peterson, you have
serious.
guess on my last 2? I know you know one of them.
Fallout.
Yes, number 2 is Fallout 3. Fallout 3, I loved New Vegas. I loved Fallout 4. I have played 1 and 2, but it's really kind of, you can't really compare those to the new ones. Fallout 3, not unlike BioShock. Those are 2 games. I would say that trifecta right there. Halo 3, BioShock 1, and Fallout 3 on the Xbox 360 laid much of the foundation for the next like 10-15 years of my gaming career. There have been a ton of games since that have like overhauled that, because there's been genres that have been fully invented since those games came out.
Right.
Genres that I have adored and have taken over. But a big chunk of my history, my experiences as a gamer were defined by those 3 games. And Fallout 3, without a doubt, was the one I spent the most time in, including Halo 3, which I was telling you how many hours I played playing multiplayer with my friends. But Fallout 3 was one where, and dude, Jackson and Trent will tell you about this. They'd come over to my house. They'd come over to my folks' house, and I was in high school, whatever, and they'd come over to hang out or to go to a party or something, and I'd be sitting there playing Fallout 3, and it was like, you either sit there and watch me play this for an hour while I wrap up what I'm doing, or I'm not coming tonight. And if you leave me here, I don't give a fuck,
Because
I'm
I'm
just
just
gonna
gonna keep
play this
playing.
for 5
Yeah,
hours.
I'm gonna keep going.
This was the game that I would play in my folks' basement until like 2 a.m. And then I would go crawl in bed and I'd pull out my laptop and I'd lay there with my laptop on my chest in bed and I'd go through the fucking wiki. I read every single article on the Fallout 3 wiki back when I was playing it. Like, there was
That's
no
crazy.
gun I didn't know about, no location I hadn't visited, no NPC I had not spoken to in this game. I 100%ed it on every single like karma level. I probably had half a dozen playthroughs that weren't just like, oh, I started it to dick around. It was like, no, I played the whole fucking game, start to finish, all the DLC, everything.
That's
like
crazy.
Multiple times through. I could not get enough of this game. And this is one where if you're like JD, you get one game to play for the rest of your life. This one's very high up on the list, number 1 or 2, like, because I know if I just sync, like, it's a game I won't download on Steam, because I know if I start, like, this isn't like, oh, I started a Skyrim playthrough and then 3 hours later I just like threw in the towel. If I start a Fallout 3 playthrough, see you in 100 hours. I have to finish this. I just can't. I can't. That's not crazy. Every part about this game. And the other cool thing is I did play this a lot when I was living in DC, which was also super fun, to go to a lot of locations that were in the game. Fallout 3 was just that was, and I don't think it's going to be hard to ever go back there. I don't think something tragically wrong would have to happen in my life for me to get to the point where I was at when I was playing Fallout 3, because I was like a college student.
Yeah.
or like a high school student, like really nothing else going on, and like this is all I fucking did was play Fallout 3. Oh, it's like Trent with World of Warcraft. This was my World of Warcraft during that era. Like,
Yeah, that makes sense.
no lifing it. And then last one, you know what this is.
I can't
You-
think of it.
I just want to shake you
I know what I would
like
say,
a
but
toddler in a grocery store.
but I
Stop
bel-
crying. Why are you crying?
you're not
Cut
supposed
it
to.
out.
Don't shake him, JD. Don't shake him.
He won't stop crying.
He cries more when I shake him real hard. No, I know what I would have said, but I don't know because I think you had told me it didn't make your cut, so I need to know. What's your number one?
FTL, faster than
Oh
light.
yeah. Oh my gosh, I wasn't even thinking this. I was thinking because
You were
I was
thinking Age
getting
of Empires too.
stuck that you said you didn't put Age of Empires on it, and I was like,
Mhm.
how did you not? But yes, FTL. Then no, that's not a surprise. Yep.
Now, FTL, a game that's my second most played on Steam behind Valheim, and another game that I just can't like. I come back to it so much. A
Yep.
game that I have spent so many countless hours in. In fact, I think the most hours I built up way back in the day, Peterson, when you were on hiatus with the podcast because you were dealing with stuff,
Yeah.
and I was taking point and I was editing the podcast. I would, because I was neurotic and didn't want to fuck it up, I would listen to the whole podcast when I edited it. I don't know. If
Oh
you
my
knew that I did
gosh.
that. Yeah.
That is
90-minute podcast.
I
every
used to
second.
listen to a big chunk of it,
Yeah.
but never all of it.
Yeah. And so every sneeze, every cough, every mic bump, I edited every single thing because it was soothing to me because what I was doing in the background was playing FTL. So I'd sit there and play FTL and I'd listen to the whole podcast back while I edited. And then if I needed to do a change, I'd pause my game, or I didn't even need to pause it half the time, jump in and do the change. And it was it was very stressful. Like doing the whole show solo like that was stressful. And FTL was like a very calming thing for me. Like Raft, not unlike Raft, where it came in and these games were like a huge crutch for me, like mentally and emotionally. And those are, yeah, I'd say FTL and Raft are pretty high up on that list. So that's
crazy.
that's the top 10. Now
Yeah,
I'll let you
okay,
guys
I need to hear about who didn't
digest
make
that.
it.
Yeah, percolate on that. Because now we're going to get into the honorable mentions. I'm going to read them top down, which means that the ones that I'm reading first were the ones that were the closest to making my list, but they just didn't make it. Number 1 was Sonic Adventure. So close. Heartbreaking not putting a Sonic game on this list. And Sonic Adventure was right up there. And it hit so many of the criteria. And it is a game that I replay because I do have it on Steam and I can replay it, and I do replay it, and I really enjoy it. It just wasn't, if I've got 3 Dreamcast games, if I got 2 Dreamcast games on there, Sonic Adventure cannot beat out Fur Fighter or Tour Commander. It wasn't a game I played quite as much as them.
Yeah, no.
And it didn't change because I loved Sonic before Sonic Adventure. I loved Sonic after Sonic Adventure. It did not change my opinion on Sonic games. Yeah. So next, Planet Crafter. Oh, Planet Crafter was hard.
That is a tough one. It's not on my list of 17 right now, and it hurt me that it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
It really did, because I do genuinely. I have no ill feelings about this game at all. Like, I
No.
love it. I love it.
Here was
The
the big-
ending was kind of lame.
The ending sucked. But the big but for me on Planet Crafter is that there's still more Planet Crafter content.
Dude, like, we need to play again.
Tons. And
Like-
we haven't.
There's other planets.
Yeah.
now. Like,
Yeah. But if Raft came out with another update, there would be no hesitation. It wouldn't be like, oh, I got to get to that. And so that's what bumped this down my list. Number 3, Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins for the Game Boy.
I'm surprised that's on there.
I
That's
know.
crazy.
Game Boy game. This is the one I probably played the most outside of Pokemon. I adored it. I loved side-scrolling games. It's just what I liked. Metroid Fusion. This is the one of like 3 games I had on the Game Boy Advance, and it was my first Metroid game, and it got me into the genre, and I played it a ton. But then I had to ask myself, like, when's the last time you played a Metroid game? been a couple years.
Yeah.
And I didn't even finish Metroid Dread. I did like 80% of that game and didn't finish it. So I was like, maybe
That's
that
not going to be a requirement for me because I don't finish almost
no,
any game.
no, I know, but this is
Yeah.
when I looked at these other games and I finished them into the ground.
Yeah,
It's
that's
hard
true.
to look at a games that anyway. San Francisco Rush 2049, another Dreamcast game that I played a ton of. That one was purely memories, like pure nostalgia. Like I can't even argue that it's like that great of a game because it's not. That's just one of those jank games you play with your friends and you fucking adore it, but you can't defend it on its merits alone. Age of Empires 2 is this far down the list, folks. I don't know. I don't know what happened. It not only wasn't on my top 10, but it's number 6 on my honorable mentions. It's hard. But dude, I don't play RTS games. I have a whole library of amazing RTS games and I don't play them. And it's because I don't think I feel the need to fill the gap of Age of Empires 2. I played Age of Empires 2 like crazy. And I also have to say I may have played equal in Age of Empires 3. And I loved Age of Empires 3. And then I'm getting into this whole well, do I like which one more? Which one did I like more? And I don't know. And you also have to take into account that it was one of the very few PC games I had. So was I just playing it because I had it? And finally, the big metric that I said that helped guide this a lot. If it was readily available and I could keep playing it, would I? Do you ever see me playing Age of Empires 4, which I own? No, which is fantastic, and everyone loves it, and it did all these awesome improvements, and it's amazing.
I might have played it more
and
than you.
Age of Empires 2 Remaster is out there, and it's awesome, and it's floating around. I haven't played it. I have to be honest with myself and pull off that veil of nostalgia and be honest and be like, dude, it's not in your top 10. You're not knocking down the gates to play it. You can, and you don't. The last two on my honorable mentions, number 7 was Worms Armageddon, also on the Sega Dreamcast.
Okay.
Kind of the same thing. It was a nostalgia play. I played it a million times, but I don't play these types of games anymore. I don't play Worms games, even though there are tons of them. It was just this moment in time where Worms hit for me, but it hasn't defined who I am as a gamer.
No.
And if you could,
I think that's
that metric that I just invented, if you could just remove this one from my gaming memory, it would hurt, but it would not change a fucking thing about who I am right now and the games that I play right now. I'd be like, I might stumble across Worms Armageddon and play it and be like, oh, that's okay. People liked this game a lot. So that's where it didn't make the list. And the last one, Gears of War 2.
I thought this would be on your top 10 maybe, but
yeah. Gears of War 2, it just kind of worked its way down the list. Even though I have played all the Gears of War games, I've enjoyed them massively, and they've been a big part of the gamer that I was in that Xbox 360 era. I just don't know if it really redefined anything for me. The multiplayer was fun. I sucked at it. The one thing out of this was Horde. The reason this made it on my list is because I played hundreds of hours with Jeff and other buddies, and it invented Horde as a genre. Like Call of Duty Zombies, these guys invented that. Never got the credit that they deserved for it. And it was an afterthought that they threw in the game at the last couple months of development. They're like, oh yeah, we should just do this. And it turned out to be one of the coolest parts of the game. But is that enough to carry it all the way up to my top 10? Probably not.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Okay.
That's my top 10 and my honorable mentions. Peterson, I strongly recommend doing honorable mentions as a way to help you.
I might have to. And actually,
down.
You were absolutely right. We talked a little bit about this before the SOD started. I think your reasoning and criteria is going to help me whittle some of mine off the list. And I think that's a good criteria is if you erased this from your gaming history, would it change a thing?
Would there be a butterfly effect that there's 15 other games you wouldn't have played?
Yeah. No, and I think that's a great criteria. I've already thought of a couple that I'm like, I got to scratch that off my list.
Mm-hmm.
So you were right. Because
was fucking out there, right?
It's nice for me to have your experience and thought process going into mine because I don't have to do the struggle that you did to get there.
Dude, 2-3 hours of just staring at this thing like homework. like trying to work out a formula. And if I had just, without thinking, shown this list to myself 2 weeks ago and was like, here's your top 10. This is it. It's definitive. I would have been like, well, it's not. I would have like, did some fan put this together? Is this someone guessing what my top 10 is? Nope. This is it. It's fucking definitive. I don't know. It's just what it is. You gotta have some sort of metric for it. And when I think it would be easier. God, this would have been so much easier before the podcast. This list before we started this podcast, I would have been able to sit down and pump this out in 2 minutes.
No problem.
And it wouldn't have changed in 10 years if we hadn't started this podcast. But this
No,
podcast has introduced me to so many games, so many genres that it's very difficult. I'd say, let's see, how many of these came out after? Let's see. But that is funny. 1, 2, only 3 of these are from before our post podcast, though.
I know a bunch of mine are probably half of mine are post podcast. Because you played more games than I did growing up.
Mhm.
I didn't own a console until I was in my late teens.
Yeah.
I played at other people's houses. We had a computer, we had a PC, but so mine is going to be very different than yours. My gaming experience was different than yours, and I really sunk into gaming, dove into it since we've done the podcast. So yeah, I think mine's going to be a lot of post podcast, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, it was interesting because I kind of started. The very first thing I did was go into Steam and look at my most played, like playtime.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah,
I went through that list, and even on my most played games, they stop. Like I played them, and they stop at a certain point, and I realized that's why so many are pre-podcast games, because that was when I had the most time to sink into games, and that's what kind of like. Because, dude, if I were like 17-year-old JD now that had all the games that I do, bro, I would never do anything. I wouldn't have gone to college. I would still be living in my parents' basement.
Well, like
I would have never done anything.
My 17-year-old right now, it's funny because we've talked about this a little bit, but the games they get into, like they are playing Schedule 1, my 2 teenagers, so heavily. Like they just love it. They love that kind of indie simulation type of goofy, not serious game. And so it's interesting. It's interesting the types of games they're playing, because they're not always just Call of Duty all the time and Halo, you know what I mean? They're not doing that as much. I don't know, man. Yeah. No, this is so you've given me some things to think about. So I do appreciate
and
that.
I hope anyone that wanted to send in their list, I hope you guys got some help out of this. I don't know.
Look, don't take JD's advice and start editing your list, because it's going to get very confusing for us.
Yeah, no, don't. If you already sent your list in, that's it. That's locked in. But if you're like me and you had 16 games, then 20 games, then 18 games, like maybe I can help you out a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is my top 10. That's it. And I don't think we're gonna worry about dice. Jenna should have a review for us next week. Mutant Year Zero. And we'll do that next week.
Yeah, she broke her neck this week, so
she broke her neck. So you gotta ice. Every time you break your neck, you just ice it a little bit. Take some ibuprofen. You'll be all right.
Get tape around your neck.
A little bit of tape. Yeah, I taped her neck earlier. Hope she's good. I taped her right for the podcast.
I did it a little bit tight, not super tight, but a little tight. She's
tight enough she knows it's there. She can feel it. Because otherwise the tape's not working, just like with an ankle.
Yeah.
I pre-wrapped it. I'm not a jerk.
Her face is turning red.
All right. Thanks for everyone that jumped on. Patrick, Abby, Jeff, everyone that was on the Discord. Very cool. Comments.
No, don't say it.
All right, guys, we are on YouTube. You should subscribe to us. Subscribe to the podcast. Leave us a review. Thumbs up, something. I don't know. Just throw us a bone.
We need your thumbs up.
Yeah, we're not asking for money. Just like random digital nonsense.
Yeah.
Give it to us. This is to play us out. Some peaceful music from Raft. This gets me, guys. This music just
This is the type of vibe JD needed at the time.
calms me the
And
fuck
so
down.
it's not like if I play the FTL music, he's like he starts going into withdrawals and starts
Uh-huh.
like booting it up.
Shaking.
This is just like, yeah, he's like,
This-
okay, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like when I'm blinking out. When I'm seeing the light at the other end of the tunnel,
Mhm.
and I'm like, this is it. This music is gonna start playing in my
And we revive him with FTL music, and then he's
Mhm.
like, nope, turns around, comes right back.
No, I want the FTL music. No, just kidding. I want Raft. I'm done.
Nope, FTL.
I'm
he's
out.
like, stop
Put
summoning
on the
me
Raft
back.
music.
Stop reviving me
summoning
with
me.
FTL.
Just let me die and listen to Raft music, please. All right, I'm JD logging off.
And this is Peterson going AFK.